Welcome back to Campus Connect. Once again, I'm your host, Ed Yaw, and I'm joined by Dr. Barbara Luthwaite, President of Centenary College, and Erkan Yüceyüzgül, a former CCM student who is graduating from Centenary College this spring. Before we talk a little bit about the relationship between the County College of Morris and Centenary in more detail, I know we wanted to talk a little bit about community service aspect and the importance of that at Centenary. Maybe President Luthwaite, you could give us some information on that.
We're very proud of our community service involvement. It's a requirement for all freshmen when they start out. In fact, part of the orientation week, actually it would be freshmen and transfers. The orientation week, we have something called Community Plunge, where every student is involved in some kind of a project. And then lots of opportunities are provided over the course of the time the students are with us to engage in other things. For example, for the last, I think it's 5 years, we have gone to New Orleans over the winter break in partnership with Drew to do various things down there. Believe it or not, this many years after the tragedy, there's still lots to do. We participate in a program called Becca's Closet, which is very popular with our fashion students. They look for gently used prom gowns that they then turn over and make into something new, Cinderella-like, for students who otherwise may not be able to afford to attend their prom. And Midnight Run is another popular thing where students go into New York City. It's run, kind of organized through the churches and synagogues there, and they bring clothing and toiletries and food to people who live in shelters. And I could go on and on about the different kinds of projects, and they tend to work best when they come from groundswell student kind of interest and efforts. And we're going to have a campus-wide picnic next Wednesday, and there'll be a run around the campus during the picnic so students can raise money for their favorite charities. So lots going on all the time, and the students will tell you it makes a qualitative difference in their experience.
I would imagine so. Have you had an opportunity to participate in any of these activities, Erkan, that you want to talk about?
Actually, yeah, I've participated in the Midnight Run, which I thought was very good. You get to see other people and how they live, and it makes you feel good when you get to make a difference, because they really appreciate the help that you give them. So when I did it the first time, I liked it so much that I did it again, and I enjoyed it. And there's a lot of stuff with being in the Sociology and Criminal Justice Club, which I'm also a part of, that we also have to help out, and they always come up with different types of community service exercises.
It is very important. I think so many of our colleges now do have programs in community service, and many of our student organizations get very involved in various student organizations and community service, as we do here at the college as well. And I think part of our thinking is that if students get engaged in these kinds of things as students, they're going to tend to continue to contribute to their communities after they graduate. So I commend you for having such a strong program
Well, likewise.
in that area.
It's part of how we not just educate the students, but give back to the community as well, right? Make the community we're part of a better place.
That's right, absolutely. Now let's talk a little bit about our relationship between the two institutions. Again, we've had a relationship for many years, probably as long as we've both existed. We, of course, have a number of articulation agreements, and I probably won't remember all of them off the top of my head, and you probably won't either, but you might. You're a lot smarter than I am.
Oh, I think so.
But I know I think we have 14 altogether, and I think we're always working on others, looking for one. Certainly criminal justice is one that we have. You mentioned the fashion program. I think that's another one that we've been working on as well. We both have very strong programs in that.
Yes.
I know that our fashion faculty were very excited when they told me that they were able to work out an agreement with your faculty to make an easy transition from one school to the other. But maybe in general, maybe talk a little bit about what is an articulation agreement and how it works from your end.
Sure. Well, Erkan described his experience as being seamless, and I love to hear that, because that's how we'd like it to be for the students. You know, you apply to the college, meet with a counselor, and they show you what courses go where, and if it's part of an articulation agreement, not every single credit applies, but pretty close to every single credit applies, and that's really what we like to see. And we love CCM students. They know how to do college. They come to us with confidence, and we try to replicate the kind of experience that you've offered them. And it works very well. Our articulation agreements have grown, as you said, and I think that's testament to the relationship that we enjoy and to the fact that our faculty really enjoy your students, because the faculty have sought out many of these, mutual efforts with your faculty and our faculty, mutual efforts on their part to make it as easy as possible on the students and to attract the students. So the fine arts you mentioned, the graphic arts, I think has been among the most recent. We've had a strong business one for a long time. I remember being chair of the education department once upon a time and visiting here when we got that one together.
Right.
So the students are highly valued and well thought of.
Yeah, I know that's your education program and the articulation agreement there is very important, because education, teacher education, is such a difficult area to articulate with anyway because of accreditation standards and so on and so forth. And I know that our students are frankly frustrated at some of the other institutions that they try to articulate with. And again, I think Centenary has been particularly generous to County College of Morris students in terms of transfer credits, not necessarily limiting the number of credits that can be transferred to 60.
Well, I think our faculty have gotten along so well, and I'll use education as an example, that they really do try to talk to each other about what's in the courses that get transferred. And so whether you took initial courses here or there, they're pretty much the same to the extent that they can be. So, the student's the winner and that type of thing.
Absolutely. And as you say, I think we've had several students, and the transfer counselor here at County College of Morris tells me that each semester Centenary is very good about giving us feedback in terms of students who are graduating from Centenary who started here at County College of Morris. And I think I just saw a list of maybe 4 students who just finished their degrees in January, and you'll probably have many more than that come May when we graduate this year, including Erkan.
Yes.
And Erkan, what are your plans for the future after you finish at Centenary? Are you still kind of working that out, or do you have some specific things in mind?
Well, I mean, I can't say that I have a specific job that I'm looking for, because there is such a very limited market. I'd like to say that in the end, I'd work for some sort of public service, whether that be law enforcement or working with the government and like United Nations or whatnot. I'm open to anything.
You're bilingual.
That's right, yeah. So that opens up a lot of doors.
Right.
And, it's different to say when a criminal justice degree is just limited to law enforcement, when with all the classes that I've taken through CCM and Centenary, it actually opens up a lot more other doors than just becoming a police officer. You can do so many other things.
Very good. And you do have a commencement coming up, and I think that's something that we always enjoy. That's always the highlight of our career, when we get the chance to see students go across the stage.
Oh yes, and think about what's happened to them in the time that they were with us.
Exactly right.
That's what keeps you coming back in this business.
That's right. That wraps up this edition of Campus Connect. I'd like to thank Dr. Barbara Luthwaite and Erkan Yüksel for dropping by. For more information about Centenary College, please visit their website at centenarycollege.edu. For more information about County College of Morris, we welcome you to visit us at ccm.edu. I'd like to know your thoughts about today's program and ask you to share your comments and thoughts with me. You can write to me, Ed Yaw, at County College of Morris, 214 Center Grove Road, Randolph, New Jersey, 07869, or email me at eyaw@ccm.edu. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Ed Yaw, and we'll see you again next time on Campus Connect on Morris Educational Television.